Shalom. Welcome back to the Process Podcast, where we dive into training for a last man standing race while battling OCD. Guys, we talk about everything that is raw, real, and we are transparent, and we believe that trusting the process is the way to attack life. Let's dive right in. Reminder, a last man standing race is a loop race where you run a 4.2 mile loop every hour on the hour. If you do not finish your loop in the hour, you get a DNF, did not finish. If you do not start the loop at the top of the hour, DNF, did not finish. There will be one winner, and that person will do one more loop than every single person that showed up. This past week was interesting. It was a whole week of active recovery. So I'm ready to get back at it. Today is Monday, 24th, and Mondays are our rest day. So that's when I intend on making these series. But what I thought about this week was how my mind can be easily distracted. I recently got a treadmill. I was blessed to receive a treadmill in this winter season. But when I got on the treadmill for my long run, I realized that my mind wandered outside, and it was starting to get easy because my thoughts were kind of silenced by the distractions of outside. So it was cool to start really understanding my thoughts when there was no dopamine around. Then I transferred to getting back into some ice baths this season, and coming in from the cold garage or cold run outside and looking at the ice bath, my brain is like, buddy, what are we doing? There's no way that I want to get in that ice bath when I'm freezing. I just want to get warm. I'm thinking, man, like, there's going to be a moment where my brain's going to say, buddy, we are not doing another loop. You're being a goofball. There's no way we're doing another loop. But I have to tell myself, yes, we are. The thing that's inside of your skull can either be a weapon for you or a weapon against you. And that's what I'm trying to learn. I'm learning how to make my mind a weapon and not let it weaponize me. So I'm actively choosing things like getting in a cold bath after I've been outside, and just little things that create habits and rewiring and retraining my brain to harden up. And remember, your brain can either be a weapon for you or a weapon against you. The Bible tells us that you have to take captive of the thoughts that come in your mind and make them obedient to what the Lord's plan and what the Lord is guiding you to do. So when false thoughts come in, start thinking, is this really what I should be thinking? Is this obedient to the calling that God has placed in my life? That should be your question with every single thought that you have. I've had a lot of hurt in this past season. Moved to North Carolina. I was very happy. We were excited. We felt the Lord call us there. And then this OCD started happening, and this emotional roller coaster started quickly going downhill. And so mentally, physically, spiritually, it just was in a lot of hurt. And just recently, this week, I wrote it down and said that if it hurts, we need to start looking closer, because that's where the process starts. And I was like, what does that mean? If it hurts, we need to look closer, because that's where the process starts. And then I started thinking that if it's emotional hurt, mental hurt, it's showing you what you need to work on. If it's physical pain, it's showing you where you are weak. And both of those things, both of them, requires you to do something. And that's what I was missing out on. It requires me to act upon the pain. The pain's not just going to disappear. Now, God has the power to make that happen, but still, you cannot sit back and do nothing. Prayer itself is an action of doing. So again, if it hurts, we need to start looking closer at the hurt, because what is the hurt trying to teach us? Maybe like mentally, I start wondering, who am I trusting? Am I trusting the world or am I trusting the Lord? Because two are very different. The Lord wants to use your circumstances. Sometimes we miss the things that He's trying to teach you because you're so stuck on the circumstance itself. You're so stuck on the pain. You're so stuck on the hurt that we miss what the Lord's trying to teach you. Because I will tell you this, every single circumstance you have in your life, good or bad, there will always be a lesson. And we can't miss the lesson because they're so valuable. The lessons are so valuable, so do not miss them. In this training prep, I've really started to focus on how can I make my brain stronger. And battling with OCD, I think this is such a great thing to do because it's my mind. And this last man standing race is, I really do think, going to be more mental than it is physical. It's only a roughly 4-mile run every hour. Your mind's going to start telling you like you're done. You need to overcome what your mind's telling you. And I've really started implementing discipline over dopamine. So doing things that I know I need to do, even when they don't make me happy to do them. And that is things for the prep, and that's things in life. And that's what I really am enjoying in this prep, is a lot of the things that are implemented for this last man standing race are directly into life. And God, that's what God's showing me. God's using this prep to show me how to attack life. And it's been really cool to see. It's almost like a superpower, that this consistency of discipline is kind of a superpower, because over time you get closer and closer and closer to the goal. And a lot of times you don't really see how much you're improving until you look back. And I'll keep preaching this. You have to journal. And that's a biblical principle of remembering where you've come from, what the Lord did for you. It's how you have hope. And I said that in the first episode, and it's how you have hope. You have to catch yourself when you're picking the easy path. You have to say, what am I doing? That's like one of the best questions I keep asking myself is, what are you doing? Why are you doing the easy path when you know that's going to lead you to not the goal? Why did you stop at 4 miles instead of 4.2 miles? It's these micro disciplines that lead to the major outcome or the major goal. That's just a small example of stop at 4.4 miles rather than 4.2 miles. What are you stopping short at in your life? A buzzword that's going around on social media is like fixing your identity or changing your identity, how to change it. And I don't think your identity is fixed. I think your identity is forged in the process. I'll keep going back to the process, and it's such a cliche thing, but this aspect of it being a process is clicking for me, that it can't be changed overnight. It's a process that is forged in fire. It's forged in hard and training. And 3 things I got about identity. And the first being, identity changes through repeated action. And just that's what I said. It's all about the process. These repeated micro disciplines that you implement, these disciplines that you implement, the way you attack life, it's all about a repeated change, these repeated actions over and over. It's almost like sculpting a rock. It's repeated sculpting and molding and forging, and I don't know if I use those terms right, but you get what I'm saying. Then second is, we have to stop calling ourselves the person our past created. Once you realize you've messed up, once you've realized that you don't want to be that person anymore, you have to stop telling yourself that's who you are. Your words are powerful. Your words are powerful. The Bible tells us that the Lord spoke everything into existence. Now the Spirit lives in us. So the words that I use are powerful. They are powerful. Stop calling yourself who your past created. Stop. Last, we have to build the identity that our future demands. These things that we want our future to have, we have to start building the identity that future needs us to be. If you have a goal of creating a business and your identity right now is laziness, your future requires much more of you. Your future requires you to change your identity of laziness and start being who you need to be. Your actions today are the votes for who you become tomorrow. This will be the last part, and then we'll wrap it up for this week. But I started looking for last man standing races and trying to see where to go, when to do it, whatnot. And I found one that was August of next year, 2026. And I started looking at it. It's really close to where I live. It's like 20, 30 minutes, less than a year away. So a little less than a year. I'd have an ample amount of time to train, and I felt comfortable. Felt comfortable to do one that's close and that it has a long time to train for. And I started telling myself that, I said, waiting to feel ready is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. You're never gonna be ready. There's always gonna be more that you could have done. Doesn't mean that you still can't do the thing, right? What if you're actually ready? What if you stop telling yourself, I'm not gonna be ready? What if you start telling yourself, I'll make sure I'm ready? So May 9th, 2026 will be the first last minute standing race. It'll be in Indiana, and I'm pumped. It's a long way to go, but I'm already getting excited. And this is a journey. This is the process. We start now, we fix as we go, and that's the process.